Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are getting dragged again online. And honestly, this latest conversation coming out of Montecito is making people ask some pretty uncomfortable questions. Because it's not even about the royal drama this time. It's about the kids, Archie and Lilibet. And the reason people are talking, according to locals, neighbors, store owners, and even moms in the area, nobody really sees these children, like ever. Now, before anybody gets dramatic, obviously celebrities are allowed to protect their privacy, especially after everything Harry says he went through growing up. Nobody's arguing that. But people are starting to say this has gone way beyond private. They're saying it feels isolated, weirdly isolated. And that's where the conversation starts getting messy. So, apparently this whole thing exploded again after Meghan posted Easter footage with the kids. And immediately people online started picking the video apart frame by frame. Not even joking. People were looking at the kids' heights, the clothes they were wearing, the body language, all of it. One thing a lot of viewers noticed was how different the two kids looked in terms of how they were dressed. The little girl is barefoot, hair messy, running around in a light outfit, while the little boy is bundled up in long pants and a jacket like he's in a completely different season. And online, people started going wild with theories instantly. Then came the comments about the children seeming awkward around the camera, especially the little boy who people claimed looked nervous and kept his head down the entire time. Now, personally, I think internet detectives can absolutely overdo it sometimes. Kids act weird around cameras all the time. But what made people keep talking was the bigger pattern everybody keeps bringing up. Nobody in Montecito seems to actually know these kids. And Montecito is not Los Angeles. That's the important part here. It's a tiny, wealthy community where people notice things. Parents know each other, kids go to the same events, families run into each other constantly. There are Easter egg hunts, community activities, farmers markets, toy stores, school events. It's the kind of place where eventually people see you somewhere, even if you're famous. But according to multiple locals being talked about online, Meghan and Harry's children are almost never seen participating in any of that stuff. No school runs, no public kid events, no toy store sightings, nothing. And that's what started making people suspicious. One thing that really fueled the gossip was this story about local mom supposedly asking around after Meghan mentioned school runs in interviews. Because according to some people in the area, nobody could actually figure out which schools the kids attended. Again, this is all rumor territory, but you can already see why gossip channels grabbed onto it. Once people think something doesn't add up, every little detail suddenly becomes evidence. And honestly, the internet has completely split into two sides over this. One side says Harry and Meghan are just being extremely protective parents because of media obsession, which, fair enough, considering the Diana situation probably traumatized Harry for life. But the other side thinks the secrecy has become excessive to the point where it's starting to look unnatural. What also keeps coming up is Harry himself. Because years ago, Harry constantly talked about wanting a normal life for his children. Bike rides, friendships, freedom, community. The stuff he felt he missed inside the royal bubble. That's why people are confused now. Critics are basically saying, okay, but where is that normal life? Because if the kids really are kept this hidden all the time, then it almost feels like the opposite of what Harry claimed he wanted. And the gossip gets even harsher from there. Because some commentators are now accusing Meghan of carefully controlling every image involving the children. Every appearance feels staged, filtered, edited, or timed. And whether that's true or not, people are noticing it more now than ever before. The thing is, once people start thinking something feels off, every single public appearance suddenly becomes a bigger discussion than it probably should be. That's exactly what's happening with Meghan Markle right now. Because after those Easter clips went viral, people weren't just talking about the kids anymore. They started talking about the entire environment Harry and Meghan have created around them. And this is where the Montecito gossip gets really intense. According to locals being online, there are constantly community activities happening for kids there. Easter events, little festivals, school gatherings, sports stuff, farmers markets, neighborhood activities. Montecito apparently has this very tight social circle when it comes to families. Wealthy families. Dots that probably shouldn't even be connected. But even with all the conspiracy talk floating celebrity families, business families, the kids all end up crossing paths eventually. That's normal in places like that. But people are saying Archie and Lilibet are basically invisible. Now again, nobody outside that family truly knows what happens privately. Let's be real about that. But when you have neighbors openly joking that Harry's kids are like ghost children because nobody sees them around town, that's the kind of comment that spreads fast online. Especially when Meghan and Harry keep presenting themselves publicly as this warm California family living a peaceful, grounded life away from the royal chaos. Critics are now saying the image doesn't match reality. One thing that really stood out to people was the claim that Meghan goes around Montecito by herself all the time, but never really with the children. And apparently, some local businesses are saying they've never seen Meghan bring the kids into toy stores or kid-centered places. Again, none of this proves anything dramatic by itself. Celebrities use nannies. They stay private. Rich families operate differently. That happens. But because Meghan and Harry already have so much public skepticism around them, people take every absence and turn it into a theory. And honestly, Harry's old interviews are making this even worse for him because remember, Harry spent years criticizing the royal family for how isolated and emotionally damaged he felt growing up. He talked constantly about wanting to break the cycle. He wanted freedom for his children, normal childhood experiences, friends, outdoor activities, real connections. That was the whole narrative after they moved to California. So now people are looking around going, okay, but where is any of that? That's why critics keep bringing up those events. Because if these kids truly never attend any of them, people start wondering what their actual daily life even looks like. And online commentators are taking that question and running absolutely wild with it. Then things get darker because some creators are now straight up calling the situation unhealthy. They're saying children need social interaction at that age. They need school friends, birthday, parties, group activities, cousins, structure, normalcy. And they're arguing that constantly hiding children away from the world can affect development long-term. Now, personally, I think some people online go way too far with the abuse accusations. That's a massive claim to throw around based on public sightings. But I will say this, the total secrecy definitely fuels speculation. Because when people never see anything real, they start filling in the blanks themselves. And Meghan's critics especially don't trust curated moments anymore. That's another huge issue here. Every family photo, every clip, every appearance immediately gets analyzed like it's a crime documentary. Hair color gets questioned, heights get questioned, dates get questioned, even clothing gets questioned. It's honestly become insane at this point. One moment people especially wouldn't let go of was the 4th of July parade appearance from a while back. Critics claimed Meghan and Harry showed up briefly for PR photos and then disappeared without really interacting much with the community. True or not, those kinds of stories keep building this larger narrative online that the family is more staged than authentic. And then, of course, because this is the internet, people started dragging in everybody connected to Harry and Meghan, too. Marcus Anderson, Tyler Perry, Doria Ragland. Suddenly, every friendship gets turned into some kind of conspiracy discussion. That's where these gossip channels sometimes lose me a little because they start connecting around. The main reason the story keeps growing is because people genuinely feel like Harry and Meghan have become disconnected from the image they originally sold to the public. That's really what this comes down to. When they first left the royal family, the whole message was simple: freedom, privacy, healing, family. Harry especially made it sound like California was going to give his children the kind of childhood he wished he had. Less pressure, less control, more authenticity, more happiness. And for a while, people supported that. But now, critics are saying the situation feels even more controlled than royal life itself. And honestly, that's the irony people online cannot stop talking about. Because Harry spent years talking about growing up trapped inside an institution. Yet now his own children reportedly live almost completely out of sight. Again, nobody knows the full truth except the people inside that house. But perception matters when you're public figures. And right now, the perception is becoming brutal. A lot of this backlash also comes from how carefully Meghan manages public appearances. Every photo release feels strategic. Every clip feels selected. Every family moment feels edited down to exactly what they want people to see. And when audiences notice that too much, they stop trusting the image completely. That's exactly what's happening here. Then you add the internet gossip machine. On top of that, and things spiral fast. Suddenly, people are questioning whether the kids attend school regularly, whether they have friends, whether they spend time outdoors, whether Harry is actually around much at all. And because there's so little public visibility, nobody can easily shut the rumors down. That's why this Montecito discussion exploded. Because it wasn't coming from random Twitter accounts this time. It was framed as locals, moms, businesses, people in the community saying, yeah, we never really see these children. Whether those claims are exaggerated or not, the story caught attention immediately because it feeds directly into an existing public suspicion around Meghan and Harry. And honestly, Harry's image takes a hit from this, too, not just Meghan's. Because people used to see Harry as the more relatable royal, the fun one, the rebellious one, the guy who loved hanging out with friends, joking around, going to football matches, doing military charity work. All of that. He had this image of wanting real human connection. But critics now say he looks isolated himself. No old friend group, barely any family ties left, constant drama, constant lawsuits, constant media battles. And people are starting to wonder if that isolation has now become the entire family dynamic. One thing I will say, though, the internet sometimes forgets celebrities can protect their kids without showing them publicly 24/7. There are famous families who barely show their children at all. That alone doesn't automatically mean something terrible is happening. But the reason Meghan and Harry get treated differently is because controversy follows literally everything they do now. At this point, even silence becomes suspicious to people. Still, some of these gossip channels are definitely escalating things into dangerous territory, accusing people of fake children, abuse, actors, conspiracies. That's where things get really messy and honestly unfair without actual proof. But at the same time, Harry and Meghan's secrecy absolutely keeps feeding the machine. That's the problem. The more controlled everything feels, the more people assume there's something bigger being hidden. And now the conversation has moved beyond royal gossip completely. People are talking about parenting, isolation, image control, social development, and whether these children are being raised in a healthy environment. That's why this topic keeps blowing up online over and over again. Because whether people support Meghan and Harry or completely dislike them, everybody notices one thing. For one of the most famous couples in the world, almost nobody seems to know anything real about the lives they claim to be protecting.